How do you decide what curly hair products are best for your hair's unique needs? I know how complicated this can be when you're trying to figure out what products to buy, especially if you're a beginner with your naturally curly hair. Finding the right products for your unique needs can be very difficult. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what you need to know in simple, easy to follow steps when selecting your curly hair products, and it's not your curl pattern. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Gina and I make videos all about naturally curly hair. I love doing simplified step-by-step tutorials, really helping you problem solve, and I love talking about ingredients and the science of hair. So I make videos like this every single week. And if you're a current subscriber of mine, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. So this video is mainly going to be focused on how to pick the right styling products, because in my opinion, it's helpful to know these characteristics when choosing styling products, because styling products really affect the look of your hair. They're the last thing that you use in your routine, and they actually style your hair to make it look the way you want it to. Whereas shampoos and conditioners, really a lot of people can use a variety of different shampoos and conditioners, so it's not quite as important to understand these things when selecting shampoos and conditioners and deep conditioners. But if you still want me to make a video on that, definitely let me know and I can make this a whole series. Stay tuned till the end of the video for a special announcement for something I'm launching that's going to make it so much easier for you to find the exact products for your needs. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that you need to determine is your hair's texture, or the width of your individual strands of hair. So what this is essentially how thick your individual strands are. So I'm talking about a strand of hair, not your entire head. This is different than density. Density refers to how much hair you have on your hair, or how thick that your hair is. So if you have a lot of hair, or if you only have a little bit of hair, there's like low to medium to high density. That is separate. For this, we're talking about the strand width. So this is important to understand because this will determine how lightweight or how heavy your products are, because hair that is not very wide and the individual strand width cannot withstand heavier products, whereas coarser hair types can withstand heavier products. So there's three types of hair textures. There is fine, medium, and coarse. And how you can determine your hair's texture is to pick up an individual strand of hair and just feel it between your fingers. If you cannot feel it at all and you can't even really tell that it's there, or if you can just barely feel it, or if you can barely see a strand of hair, then you likely have fine hair. If you can kind of feel it, like you can tell that it's there, but it doesn't really feel very wiry or brittle or anything, then it's probably medium. A lot of people have medium textured hair. And then for coarse hair, if it feels very wiry and almost brittle feeling, and you can definitely feel a strand of hair between your fingers, maybe even when you run your fingers down the strand, it feels kind of bumpy or like there could be kinks in it, then that is coarse hair. And it's important to note that you can have a variety of different hair textures on your head. I'm actually an example of this. My hair is 50% medium and 50% coarse. So that means that half of my hair, and most of it's on the top section, is coarse. And these hairs feel so wiry and brittle, and they don't like to group into curl clumps, so they kind of just stick out all over the place. Especially my gray area that I have, that's definitely very coarse, whereas the rest of my hair is medium. And you can tell a big difference in the way that it feels. So most of it is just a feeling. So in my opinion, this is probably the most important thing to figure out with your curls, because that's going to determine how lightweight or how heavy your products are. And products usually come in a variety of different weights to them, and that's really the main difference between products, other than their hold level or their ingredients, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But for the most part, you can have a combination of different things within products, but it all comes down to the weight of the product. So I wanted to share just a few examples here and there of products that are very lightweight versus heavier weight products, just so you can know what to spot, but you don't have to go with these exact products by any means. I just wanted to share some examples. So if you have fine hair, you'll want to go with very lightweight products. So think products that are more watery. They might be more liquidy, like you could shake them up, or they're in a spray bottle, or they have like a milky consistency. And when I'm talking about styling products, I'm mainly referring to creams and gel stylers. Foams and mousses are actually a really great option too for fine hair, and also leave-in conditioners. And that's what I was going to show you here as an example. This is the Inner Scent Sweet Spirit Leave-In Conditioner. This says it's a lightweight detangling spray to increase moisture and add shine. So you still need to moisturize fine hair, but you don't want to over moisturize it with too much moisture. So some something like this, it actually comes with a spray pump. Anytime you see a spray, that's usually going to be something that is more lightweight, unless if it's like a hairspray or something. So this is a moisturizing product. This is a great first step before you would go in with a gel. And if you can hear it, it's definitely a liquid and it has moisturizing ingredients, but it's not too heavy. An option for a gel for fine hair is the Curlsmith Fragrance Free Shine Jelly. This is a pretty firm hold gel. I would consider this like a medium hold, and we'll get into hold in just a little bit, but this is not heavy at all. And another thing you want to look for is look at the ingredients. Look at the first couple of ingredients. Ingredients are actually listed in concentration. So the first few ingredients on a label is what is in the majority of the product, and then it decreases as you go down the list of ingredients. So you'll want to look for products that have water as the first ingredient versus oils. If you see a lot of oils and butters, that's probably going to be too heavy for fine hair. So this one actually has water as the first ingredient, PVP, which is a type of hold ingredient, and then it has hydrogenated castor oil, which an oil, like I mentioned, is usually heavier, but because it says hydrogenated, it's probably broken down into smaller molecules, so it's not going to be too heavy. It's actually been broken down to be a lot smaller, so that way it can actually seal the hair. And then it has some other extracts, which are also very lightweight. So that's a lightweight option with medium hold. So for medium textured hair, so this is hair that falls in between coarse and fine hair. This hair type can really benefit from a lot of different products, but I would still err on the lightweight side if you want volume, because it's really going to depend on the appearance that you want to go for. But you can also look for cream stylers. That's another great option for medium textured hair. I like to use a curl cream and a gel, but a cream is going to help style your curls and also provide moisture, whereas a leave-in is just going to moisturize the hair and it might be more lightweight. So my options that I wanted to share for a curl cream that's great for medium textured hair is the Bounce Curl Avocado and Rose Oil Clump and Define Cream. And I love how they actually label these. So this says medium moisture. So that means it's a medium weight product. This is not a heavy butter curl cream, and this is not like a lightweight spray leave-in. It is a cream, but the cream itself is not too heavy. So this is a great option for most hair types. So then for coarse textured hair, this hair texture has much more structure to it, so it can withstand heavier products, and it might actually need more butters and oils to help soften it, because those are emollient ingredients, which essentially just mean those are ingredients that sit on the surface of the hair. They help to soften, they help to lock in moisture. And so that's things like coconut oil, shea butter, like those are the two most common ones that you'll see in hair products, especially when it comes to a lot of your basic drugstore curly hair brands. You'll see a lot of these heavier ingredients because they were originally designed for people with very coily hair types that is very thick, and so a lot of them have heavy ingredients. So an example of that is the Shea Moisture Coconut and Hibiscus Curl Enhancing Smoothie. This is the one that's in the bottle, but it actually usually comes in a tub. Typically when you see products in a tub, it's going to be heavier weight. That Bounce Curl Cream is an exception, but most drugstore products in a tub, that's gonna be like your butters that are very thick and heavyweight. This is gonna be way too heavy for somebody with very fine hair, but if you have coarse hair, this is gonna give you some nice softness and moisture. This has water still as the first ingredient, but it has coconut oil or coconut juice as the second ingredient. Coconut is a heavy ingredient. Then there's vegetable shea butter. That's another one that's also very heavy. That is in a butter form, so it's like a solid and it's a lot thicker and doesn't just absorb into the hair. It's more of a sealing ingredient, so that can really weigh down fine hair. So the next step is to determine your desired results or the needs of your hair. And I'm including this second because I think it is second most important aside from your texture, because it's really gonna depend on how you want your hair to look based on the products that you choose. So there's a couple different things when it comes to appearance that people look for, and the most popular one is probably definition versus soft and fluffy curls. So definition just means when your curls actually clump together and you can see ringlets or you can see waves, like they're actually taking a shape, they're clumped together versus being all separated and frizzy and more puffy. Some people like having soft fluffy curls and they don't want their hair to look hard or crunchy, and they want more volume and they might not mind frizz. So that's why it's important to know what you're going for. So basically, the more hold that you have in your product, the more definition that you're going to get. The less hold, the less definition, and the more fullness and volume and more of like a separated look versus a lot of clumps. So an example when it comes to products, these are two polar opposite products and give you two polar opposite results. So this is the Curlsmith Curl Defining Styling Souffle. This gives maximum definition. It's actually a medium, like a buildable hold gel. So depending on how much you use, you can achieve stronger hold, but this gives a lot of definition, almost to a fault if you use too much. It can give you that very defined look that is hard to scrunch out if you use too much, so you can only just use a little bit of it, so a little goes a long way. And then on the other hand, the Curlsmith Shape Up Aqua Gel. This is a very liquidy, lightweight gel, but it also doesn't really have any hold. Curlsmith labels it a level 5 light hold. I do think it's a light hold. Sometimes the hold levels on products I don't find are super accurate, so I always like to state what I think that they are based on my hair type, but everyone's different and gets different amounts of hold with products. But in general, this is gonna be a lighter hold gel. So anytime I use this, I know that my curls are not going to last as long, but I have a lot of volume and my curls are very soft. They're still somewhat defined, but not quite as defined as when I use something like the souffle, and my hair tends to last a lot longer when I use a stronger hold gel. And the next desired look that you might have is volume, or maybe you want to reduce volume. Some people want different things. I would say the majority of people usually want more volume. And so when it comes to volume, the lighter weight products are going to enable more volume, whereas heavier products are going to reduce your volume. So if you had very thick hair and you don't love volume and you really want to reduce it, thicker products are going to weigh down your hair and reduce that volume. This is why a lot of times foams and mousse products give a lot of volume. These are the most lightweight, they have the most water in them, and they really expand in the curls and create a lot of volume. Lightweight products also do this as well, like lightweight creams and lightweight gels. They enable your hair to be more voluminous versus weighing it down. And the next one I wanted to discuss is increasing shrinkage versus reducing shrinkage or elongating the curls. I would say most of you watching probably like to increase your shrinkage. You want to increase your curl definition, because I hear that a lot from you guys. But then sometimes people with very tighter curls, or people that just don't love how tight their curls are, or they don't love how their hair looks so much shorter when they dry it, they might want to encourage more elongation. So they might want to maintain their length and sort of elongate the curls. So that's going to depend on your types of products as well. So lighter weight products are going to enable more shrinkage and definitely stronger hold as well, whereas heavier weight products are going to elongate the hair and pull it down, so that way it's not going to spring up as much. So I just wanted to share a couple examples too. So one example of an elongating product is this Maui Moisture Frizz-Free Shea Butter Elongating Gel. Note it says shea butter, so that's going to mean that it's heavier. And I mentioned a lot of times these drugstore brands are formulated with like coconut and shea butter, which are heavier ingredients. This has aloe as the first ingredient and water as the second. So it's a thick gel. It's very thick in consistency. It's not like your lightweight liquidy gels. It has VPVA copolymer, and then it has coconut water, coconut oil, shea butter, seed oils. All of those are heavy ingredients, so it's gonna help elongate the curl. So that would actually make your hair look less curly. So the next helpful characteristic to know is your hair's porosity. Now you might be surprised why I didn't include this first, because everyone always talks about porosity, but porosity relates to protein, which I'll explain, and that's more so just an add-on when you need it. So that's why I've included it here. So porosity refers to how absorbent your hair's cuticle layer is, and how much it can absorb and retain moisture or water in products. So knowing your hair's porosity will tell you if you should incorporate products with protein, or if you should avoid protein and not use it too much. It can also tell you how much moisture that your hair is gonna need, and it can also tell you if you need to look for products that have sealing ingredients. So there's actually a wide range of porosities. There's about 5 levels, but to simplify it, most people like to focus on 3 levels. The first one being low porosity hair. So that's when the hair's cuticle layer is very tightly bound, almost to a fault, to where it doesn't let in any moisture. Products tend to just sit on the surface, and because of that, it can get very weighed down. So products don't really absorb as easily, and it can also become dry over time because water and moisture is not soaking in as easily. And then there's medium porosity hair, and this sits in the middle. This is just your average porosity. This is a functioning cuticle to where it can let moisture and water in, but not too much, and it also can hold on to it. So medium porosity hair probably doesn't really dry out on day 2 or day 3. Like you can actually stretch your wash days a couple of days and your hair doesn't become super dry if you're using the right products by day 2 or day 3. And this hair type probably just has some normal wear and tear to it, just from brushing in the sun and maybe wearing your hair up some and maybe using a little bit of heat with a diffuser, but it's not super compromised. Like it's still a functioning cuticle. And then on the other end, high porosity hair is more damaged hair. So the cuticle layer cannot hold on to moisture. It really soaks up moisture and water. So your hair really absorbs water quickly, whether if it's when you get in the shower, or if you spritz your hair down, it soaks it right up. You might notice that your products absorb really quickly, so you feel like you have to use a lot of product, and it also can't hold on to moisture. So your hair becomes very dry, maybe even by the end of the day. By day 2, day 3, you find that it really dries out, and so you need more sealing products, and you might find you have much more frizz and just need more hold in your routine. These are typically people who have highlights, who have dyed their hair, maybe you've had some chemical services done to your hair, or maybe you've heat styled your hair for a long time and you're still recovering and trying to get your curls back. It's also normal to have a variety of hair porosities. A lot of times your hair might be low to medium at the root, and then it gets higher porosity as it goes down the strand because our ends take a lot more weathering, a lot more wear and tear. Also, the top layer of our hair is more exposed to the elements. It gets sun damage. It just has more friction on it overall. So you might notice that the top section is much more high porosity. So how do you address these different areas? You just want to treat the most problematic one or the most apparent one. So just like I was saying with hair textures, you can have a variety of textures. You'll just want to pick maybe products that are in the middle and maybe just focus on those areas. So if you wanted to use more sealing ingredients, then just apply those to the top section. You can kind of get used to it in that way and know what your hair needs, but overall just address probably the most problematic one. So how do you determine your hair's porosity? You'll want to just observe your hair and look at the symptoms that I just mentioned. I can list all of these too for you in a summary on my blog, which will be linked down below, but you'll want to just kind of look for some of those symptoms. You can also spritz your hair when it doesn't have any products, so your naked curls, dry hair, no products, no buildup, spritz it with some water, or you could even get in the shower and just see how well your hair absorbs that water. Does it bead up on the surface? It's probably low porosity, but you want to make sure you get it pretty wet because, you know, water does bead on any surface. But if it absorbs right away when you spritz it, then you know it's high porosity. It's really hard to test. Don't stress about it. Just look for the symptoms and know if you need to incorporate a little protein or not. And most of us could benefit from some protein here and there, and you don't want to overdo it regardless. So for low porosity hair, you'll actually want to avoid protein or only use proteins that aren't quite as strong, like silk amino acids, keratin, collagen. Like, you can look for some of those ingredients that might be lower on the ingredients list and they don't jump out as an actual protein, like hydrolyzed wheat protein. That's a much larger protein that is stronger and gives a more protein effect on the hair. So low porosity hair, avoid them altogether, or maybe just incorporate some of those smaller ones if you still want some strengthening. So an example of a protein-free gel is the Jessie Curl Spiralicious Styling Gel. This one is great for humidity. It's minimal ingredients. There's not a lot of heavy ingredients in this either, and it actually comes in fragrance-free, which is nice. But in looking at the ingredients, I don't see any protein ingredients. It's just water, polyquaternium, which is a great humidity blocking ingredient, has jojoba seed oil in it, and then that's really it. There's only a couple of ingredients. So this is a protein-free option. So your medium porosity hair, you can definitely incorporate some protein. Maybe rotate your deep conditioners, like 1 week use a protein-free mask, and then the next time use one with protein. Or you can also just incorporate protein in just one of your styling products, or maybe you do a wash day one day that has some protein, and then the next wash day doesn't have any. But just to simplify it, just pick one product if you do want to have some strengthening, or don't use any protein products in your styling routine and just use a protein deep conditioning mask once a month, like just for maintenance. So for your high porosity hair types, that's where you definitely want to incorporate some protein just to help provide that strength. So protein will actually seep into the hair's cuticle, help strengthen it, and it will help seal in moisture. And so that's what you need with high porosity hair. So you can either do this by doing a deep conditioning mask every week with protein. You can add some protein into your styling products. I personally like to add in protein to my gel because it helps keep the curls. You'll notice that your curls spring up a lot more with protein because it helps keep the curls in place longer. So it's really beneficial in gel. So one of my favorite gels that is pretty protein heavy is the Liquid Effects Extra Firm Styling Lotion from AG. This has quite a bit of protein. It even says in the description, which is super helpful. And this is also very lightweight and liquidy and moisturizing, which makes it a perfect match for high porosity hair, because with high porosity hair, it gets very dry and it's also very tangly. So having something that isn't going to make it more sticky and tangly and hard to work with is great. So a lightweight liquidy gel. I don't know if you can hear, but this one is super liquidy, so great option. So the last and final step is to determine the climate of where you live. So this is important to understand because our weather can vary throughout the year, especially if you live somewhere like I do, and you might notice your hair not acting right as the seasons change. And it's going to affect if you need to look for products that contain humidity blocking ingredients, or maybe if you live in a very dry climate, you need products that help keep your curls moisturized and prevent them from drying out. So again, this is just like an add-on, just like protein. It's not quite as critical, but it's helpful to know so you can spot some of those ingredients and be like, oh, that's going to be great for summer versus this one's going to be a great winter option. So the types of climates are humid. So think like the South, summertime for most of us. And then there's a mild climate. So that's like California, where they have pretty stable weather all the time. They don't deal with a lot of humidity and maybe not a lot of dryness. Must be nice, right? And then there's very dry weather. So think like the Arizona desert, where it's super dry and your hair might dry out and feel brittle, even in the summertime when it's very hot. So you can have summer hot air with no moisture. And then, you know, if you're in the South, then you have very wet weather with hot temperature. So keep in mind your climate. If you live in a state like I do where you have all seasons, then you might need to change up your products throughout the year. And I enjoy kind of switching it up because I definitely noticed that I need more humidity blocking ingredients in the summer, and I need more longevity and more hold compared to the winter when my hair can get very dry and crispy because we have cold, dry winters too. So if you live in a humid area, you want to look for ingredients like polyquats because these are going to help block out humidity. You might also want to try some silicone in your serums or in your oils or maybe in your gel because those are sealing ingredients. So it's going to help lock in your style and prevent moisture from penetrating into your hair. I know not everyone likes silicones. You need to make sure that you're clarifying, but it is a sealing ingredient. You need to kind of seal in your hair. I don't really use them that much. I might incorporate them every once in a while, but I can't do it in back-to-back wash days or else my hair gets very weighed down. And you'll also want some pretty strong hold gels. So I'm sure you guys know the gel that I'm going to mention. It's the Ouidad Advanced Climate Control Stronger Hold Gel. This is actually what I have in my hair right now. So this is the best gel I have found for humidity. It's even labeled for humidity, which is super nice, but it contains multiple polyquat ingredients, which is something that I have noticed makes a big difference in humidity when there's more than one versus just seeing it on the ingredients list once. There are several different ones in here. There's also shea butter, which is sealing, and you'll notice it does have glycerin, but when combined with these other humidity blocking ingredients, it doesn't affect my hair at all. It also has lots of proteins in it, so that's gonna help trap in moisture and prevent the curls from falling flat. So it's just a really great formula. It's also very lightweight and liquidy. It's a clear gel, but it's also highly moisturizing. So this is a great example of how a thick gel does not always equal strong hold, and same goes for a light liquidy gel doesn't always mean light hold. Those are not the same things. I know it's not as often to find a lightweight to liquidy gel that's also strong hold, but this is a good example. The AG Liquid Effects is another example to where I can get strong hold out of this, but it's also very lightweight. The Jessie Curl Spiralicious is another option that's a pretty lightweight formula, but it also provides very strong hold. So if you live in a mild climate like California, you actually have an advantage because you can experiment with a lot of different products and you might not find that your hair gets super frizzy on day 2 because you're not dealing with a ton of humidity. And so you can really use a variety of products all year round, which is nice. So then for super dry weather, you'll want to look for ingredients such as film forming humectants. So these are ingredients that can help bring moisture into your hair, but also lock in moisture and prevent it from escaping. So this will keep your hair moisturized longer. They create a film or a barrier on the hair, but not as much as like a polyquat ingredient or as a silicone. These are more like your natural styling agents. So think of ingredients like aloe, flaxseed, slippery elm. Like these are ingredients that create this film on the hair. You know how aloe creates a film, and it's super water soluble, so it can totally be washed out and it doesn't build up. They're lightweight, but they also help to trap moisture. They're super moisturizing, but also trap moisture. So one that comes to mind is the Curlsmith Curl Defining Styling Souffle. I just mentioned this one, but this one is packed with film forming humectants. It doesn't have any humidity blocking ingredients, but it does have a lot of those natural stylers that help to lock in moisture. Also, oil is another one that can help to trap in moisture. Oils are sealing. They can also be penetrating as well, but for the most part, they are designed to lock in moisture versus actually moisturize the hair. They soften the hair too, but oils are great at keeping moisture in. So this has glycerin, babassu oil, it has sorbitol, which is another humectant, Irish moss, another humectant. It has flaxseed extract, which is that film forming humectant. I think it has aloe in it as well, but it's lower down the list. Avocado oil, lots of ingredients that help with moisture retention. And again, it's a medium but buildable hold gel. So you might be wondering, why didn't I include curl type when most brands do? And they show you those curl pattern charts when you're shopping for products. So I personally don't find that curl type makes a big difference at all when it comes to picking your products, because you could have a combination of any of these textures or porosities or climates or whatever and have different curl types. So it's not always just about the curl type. In my opinion, curl type comes into play more when you're figuring out styling techniques and also the longevity of your curls. So certain styling techniques can help enhance certain curl types, and like wavy hair will fall flat throughout the day and just become straighter. So oftentimes those are the issues that are based on the curl type or the curl pattern. It's not so much about the products that you use. And you might also be wondering, why didn't I talk a lot about density? And for me, density is more about the amount of product that you use, because my hair is a good example of that. I have low density hair, so I don't have a ton of hair on my head, but it's also half medium and half coarse. So most of those hair quizzes or online articles will say that low density hair is fine hair, and they will call my hair fine and say that I need lightweight products. But lightweight products are not moisturizing enough for my hair, and my hair gets super dry. So I need more moisturizing products. I need products that have some oils in them. I really like moisturizing products, but I just can't use too much of them. And some thicker curl creams and stuff actually work really well, especially on my coarse areas, but I can't use a ton of them because I have low density hair. So that's more about the amount of product that you use and also your desired results, because if you have low density hair, you might want more volume. So you would go for some lighter weight products that are not used quite as much. So I don't think it's quite as important when picking products. It's more about the other things that I mentioned. So now I wanted to share a special announcement, and this is gonna help you guys shop for products, and that is the launch of the new store section on my blog. So I have a whole new shop page on my blog where it has all of my favorite products, but the best part is there are labels on those products that will tell you exactly what you need to know to pick the right products for you. So you know those ingredients websites that you can put in the ingredients list and it'll tell you if it has protein or if it contains silicone or sulfates, but it doesn't exactly help you if you're searching for products? This will combine that with an actual product database. So you can filter the products on my shop based on your current needs. So if you want a product that is very lightweight, contains protein, but doesn't contain aloe because your hair hates aloe, you can do that on my blog. So the filters that you can use, they do combine, you can mix and match them to get exactly down to the product that you want. Now note, these are only products that I have tried, because that's the only type of product that I can recommend because I've tried them. So this isn't every product out there. As I start testing more stuff, I will be continuously adding to this, and you can shop through the links too, which helps support my blog too, and it takes you to the brand site so you can order right on the brand site. It has my discount codes. So I've been working on this for a while, super excited about it. I've always wanted a place to where even I can filter my collection based on what I'm looking for. There's filters in there for fragrance. Like some people don't like synthetic fragrances because of the phthalates. Some people want products without coconut oil, so you can filter by that. But the most exciting one that I actually just added is a filter for the formula weight, which I think is gonna be huge because, as I just talked about all throughout this video, you need to know the weight of the formula. If it's lightweight, if it's medium, if it's heavy, and also the texture of it too. So is it a liquidy gel or is it a custard? Those are especially the types of things that you can't tell when shopping online, is the formula of the product. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but brands describe products completely different than what they actually are. Like, they will be listing stuff as strong hold or lightweight, and then it's not at all, and it gives you no hold. So there are even labels on this for hold level, and these are based on my opinion for hold level, for formula weight. That's all based on what I've noticed. But the ones for ingredients are based on the actual ingredients list, so the scientific ingredient name for each. So that's an actual filter. That's not like my opinion. That's, you know, if it spots the word for protein, it will label it as protein. So I'm gonna have the link down below. Also keep in mind that this is just the first iteration of it. I have more things in the works to improve this. I wanna make the filters better. I'm also going to be adding in relevant links to content that goes with each of these products. So when you're shopping, you can check out my content where I'm using that product. So that's to come in the next version. Keep a lookout for that. You can also subscribe to my blog by email. I'll have a link down below for that as well, because they will be the first to find out when the next version of the store is live, and you'll also get updates and stuff. Like, you'll get the blog post that goes with the video sent to your inbox every week, and that includes all of the notes, so it's sort of like a checklist or a notes guide that you get with every video, so you don't have to worry about taking notes like during this video. So if you have any feedback on the store, definitely let me know, play around with it, tell me what you think. If you see any errors in the labels, please let me know because I will fix it. And I just want to thank you all so much for supporting and shopping through my links. I'm also gonna have all the products I mentioned today linked in the description box down below. If you want me to make this a series and do more product videos sharing how to pick the right products, let me know as well. So if you need more help shopping for products and picking out the right products for you, you can check out the playlist that I have linked right here on the screen, which is going to show all the different videos that I've made talking about my top products. I have some that are talking about the top shampoos, the top conditioners, and in that I break down who it's best for. So if you need more product recs, check out those videos and I will talk to you over there. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.